I can smell burning. We'll see how long this goes for. Alright, so apparently I think we are now in chapter 2. What was that? We're in chapter 2. And I think we've taken the JonTron route. So, yeah, I guess the first chapter is a general, here is the game. And then you finally, and then I guess that the date is where you kind of solidify your path. Finally, I panicked when I found out I was only in chapter 2, thinking, holy crap, is there going to be 10 chapters and I'm going to spend the rest of my life playing this game? But I think there's only like 4 or 5 maybe. They are pretty long, but we'll see. Anyway, it wasn't until I was on my walk home that the full impact of what happened hit me. I was so caught up in helping John overcome his shock that I forgot that I too knew and cared for Jacques. Not as much as John, no way, but I'd grown fond of the little bird's snark. He's not gonna sass me ever again, is he? Hot tears rolled down my cheeks. I wiped my face and doubled my pace. Like John, I didn't want people to see me cry. Of course, there was no way I could avoid Mai, not when I lived with her. I opened the door to my room, and as soon as I saw the flickering movements of Mai's gold sweater, I ducked my head.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Hana. How'd the whole tree thing go? Good. I turned away, setting my bag on the floor next to my desk. Then I stood and stared at it. I hadn't really thought past getting to my room. I was just trying to get to it so I wouldn't explode in front of everybody. So I had some place to process things. Now Mai was here, and it was all I could do to hold myself together. Planning the next step had fallen to the wayside. Hana, are you alright? You don't look too good. I swallowed. Yeah, sitting around like a zombie wasn't a good way to get people not to worry about you. I attempted a bright smile. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? My chin wobbled in the middle of my reply, and then the look on Mai's face told me she didn't trust me as far as she could throw a semi-truck. Come here. Mai sat down on my bed and patted the space next to her. I glanced from her to the door. If I wanted to, I could run to the bathroom if I did. If I did, the stall would definitely be empty and I could cry myself in peace, by myself in peace. Mai would still know something happened, but at least we wouldn't have to deal with the awkwardness that someone crying in front of you and not knowing how to comfort them. Mai followed my gaze to the door and slapped the bed. Sit! I obediently sat down next to her. She turned to me. She turned to face me full on, and the presence of her big, empathetic eyes staring at me was uncomfortable. I grabbed Mr. Bunny. Mr. Bunny had always been there for me in times like these. He was the only one who saw me cry about things like this. I buried my face into his soft fur. Tell me what's wrong, Hana. You can't always keep things to yourself. You already do that way too much. I do not. My voice was muffled by Mr. Bunny's fur, but Mai just chuckled. Uh-huh. Sure you don't, because I can't hear you crying in your bed on bad nights. Oh my gosh. Immediately heat sprung to my face. Had I woken her? How many times has she heard me? Why hadn't she said anything? What a bitch. I rubbed my hands together, shaking my head. Mai stared at me patiently like a Buddhist monk in meditation. I sighed, but then another thought occurred to me. As sad as I was about Jacques passing, John was even more upset. Far more upset. He asked me not to tell anybody, so what was I supposed to do? It might be nice to tell Mai, but it's not really any of my business. It must be if you're having sighs like that. She wrapped an arm around my back, resting her head on my shoulder. Come on, Hana, lay it on me. The old Meister's got you covered. She nuzzled her head into my shoulder, and my heart squeezed. Well, I ran into John today, and in the theatre, when I went to look for him. And at first it looked like nobody was there, but I heard a noise, and I found him crouched in the corner, and I auditioned for the role, but I didn't do as well as he thought I would, and now I might not get the part. She lied! It's a lie! I winced as the lie slipped through my mouth. Why did it deserve dishonesty from me? But at the same time, John was a private person. He didn't trust easily, and this was very clearly a private matter, one that didn't belong with the rest of the gossip that sped daily between the classroom doors. It wasn't necessarily that I thought Mai would tell people if she knew, but the potential harm was far, far too great for me to cave in a moment of weakness. Even if I was sad, even if I was grieving again, even if I could use some comfort. Oh, Hana. Man, what's up with that kid? He's always so rude. He spent all his time telling you were perfect for the part, and now he's going to go back on his word? Don't worry, Hana. You're still the best tree in my eyes, and we both know that's what matters most. Mai winked, then pulled me in to a hug. I'm sorry that you're sad, though. I do hope you end up feeling better soon. Life's too short to spend it worrying about some dumb boy. Says you. Says you, Mai. Tears once again filled my eyes, and I patted Mai's arm. Thank you, Mai. I mean, yeah, it's true, but I mean, she's one that's obsessing over Jared and whatever, so I don't think I should be taking that sort of advice from you, Mai. I eagerly awaited John's arrival the next day. Images of his distraught form alone in his room having plagued me all night. Even though I knew he needed some time alone and he was grateful I left him, I still felt like I abandoned him when he needed me most. I had Mai to help me when I was down. At best, I left John with PBG. But if he didn't tell PBG anything, then I just leave him to suffer alone. That's kind of his fault anyway. I don't know. Don't take that burden on yourself, Mai. Hana. I twiddled my thumbs by my desk. Turning every time I heard the doors open. Oh, that. She's like a robot, isn't she? No. I don't know who this guy is. No. Not him either. Oh, my goodness. But PBG and John were roommates. Kind of wish I did the PBG route. Oh well. Shouldn't John be with him? Jeez, Hana, you're gonna get whiplash the way you're whirling around like that. You sure you're alright? Yeah, I'm fine. Everything is fine. Yet again, Mai knew better, but she didn't press the issue. Apparently, after last night, if I didn't want to talk, she wasn't going to make me. Not while we were in class, at least. When the warning bell played, I finally got up and crossed to PBG's desk. I needed answers. Hey, PBG. Hana, what brings you to this side of the room? Well, did PBG not know? I needed to talk to John about something, but he isn't here yet, is he? Oh yeah, he wasn't feeling well this morning. He said he was just going to stay in bed all day. He pursed his lips. John's been acting really weird since yesterday though. That morning he was fine. I mean, you saw him. But when I got back from practice yesterday, he was in bed. He didn't even want to eat. That's how bad he felt. He wasn't coughing or anything either. I hope he's not depressed. Wow. Why is it not noticing that Jacques not around? Yeah, I hope so not. I tried not to smile or do anything. I tried to smile or do something to not raise suspicions, but PBG cocked an eyebrow at me. Hana, you wouldn't happen to know anything about this, would you? Me? John made me promise not to tell anybody, and I wanted to remain faithful to that promise, but it's just so hard. But this wasn't like telling Mai. PBG was one of John's best friends and his roommate. If something was going on with John, PBG was the person most likely to notice, most likely to worry, most likely to be able to do something about it. What if I didn't tell him and something bad happened? But if John ever found out, I knew he wasn't going to like it. Oh, I don't know. Oh, my hair. I am going, this little, what is this? My hair, so much. I'm going to... Oh, I don't know. I'm just going to keep it between me and John. Keep it between me and John. No, I have no idea. A nervous giggle floated out of my mouth and PBG stared at me dubiously. Okay then. Apparently I was as good as lying as a turtle was at holding knives. Aww. But, take care of him, won't you? Of course, I'm not just going to leave him hanging if he's sick. I nodded. PBG kept staring at me and I knew that he knew that there was more to the story. Well, it's not my place to talk about it, really. Even if I was able to keep my promise, I still raised flags with the issue, but maybe that was a good thing. Exactly. Concern is good, but not being a gossip, even though it's not really gossiping, but you know what I mean. PBG was sure to go back to the dorms and interrogate John about what was wrong. If nothing else, PBG would know that John wasn't sick and would be able to help him in non-physical ways. Okay. PBG frowned, shoving his hands into his pockets. It didn't feel right to leave a conversation like this. I was truly grateful that John had someone as concerned about him as PBG after all. On impulse, I grabbed PBG's wrist and pulled his hand out of his pocket, taking it to my own. Okay. Thanks, PBG. You're a good friend. I'm... What? What the hell is this? What is Hana doing? His entire body colored, and he started trembling uncontrollably, a leaf in the winter wind. PBG, are you okay? Yeah, okay. What the frickety frack? The door opened and Miss Shizuka finally appeared to save me from this conversation. I pressed PBG's hand the final time before returning to my desk, pulling blah blah. Hana, what's going on? She's all good to touch these guys now. Why were we studying us in the fire here? Mr. Butter Gamer. What? Yes? PBG hadn't moved from where I left him. His hand was floating in the air as if I was still holding it. Damn it, I knew I should have gone for PBG. Damn. Realizing that I was indeed gone, PBG scrambled back into his seat, hiding his head as Shane snickered and smacked his back. Oh, look cute. Still, I wasn't comfortable just leaving John alone for the day. Damn it! I should have gone for PBG! I'm full of so much regret right now. As Miss Shizuka started taking roll, glaring at PBG between every name, I made up my mind. I had to go check on him. Ooh, look at me, look at Hana going and touching guys and being all caring and shit. As soon as the bell rang, I shot out of my chair. Hana, don't worry about me. I'm gonna go see John and comfort him. And don't worry about me. I'll see you after lunch. I sped out of the room and evading students pouring into the hall and turned away from the crowd towards Bluebell. I passed the sign where John first stood and told me that we were in the same class. Aww, memories. Then speed walked past the field. I got lost in that. Wow. If John was suffering on his own, I wasn't about to sit around and let him. John, it's me, Hana. You weren't in class today and I was worried, so I came to check up on you. Won't you let me in? There was only silence from inside John's room, and suddenly fear crept into my heart. John, you're not, sick or anything, right? You haven't done anything rash, right? John! The doorknob turned with a soft click, and the door opened about an inch. I peered into the crack, unable to see anything but the blue walls of John's room. John! Again, there was no response. After a moment's hesitation, I gathered my courage and pushed the door open. Oh, John. John sat huddled in the center of the room, the blanket I laid over his shoulders the afternoon before drawn tightly over his body. It looked like he hadn't slept or even brushed his teeth since I saw him last. Gross. Even his clothes looked to be the same ones as he was wearing the day I left him, his jacket smudged with oil from Jacques' gears. Yuck. I closed the door softly behind me and sat across from him on the sofa, tucking my legs underneath me. John. His eyes were red and puffy. There was no doubt in my mind that he had been endlessly crying. I'd been there before, though not exactly. I knew something of what he was going through. I reached into my backpack and took out a small bottle of water, sliding it over to him. For the first time, John responded to me. He grabbed the bottle and tried to twist the top open. His grip. Don't know why I thought it was also right. His grip was weak, and after 2 failed attempts, he stared sadly at the bottle. How weak was he? Had he been eating or drinking at all since yesterday? I twisted the top of the bottle, then handed it back to him. Within a few quick gulps, the bottle was empty. My fears were confirmed. He probably wasn't eating or drinking. He thumped the bottle on the table, the hollow echoes sounding loud in the silence of the room. Then, for the first time since I came in, he looked at me. I'm gonna quit the drama club. You're what? He held up a hand as if to stall my questions, glancing away. You don't understand. Jacques was my star, my queen. He was my everything. I can't go on without him. So I might as well quit. Nothing will ever be the same. John, quitting the drama club was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of, especially with the depth of extremes his own drama queen personality could get to. Still, if John set his... I was going to call him Jacques. If John set his mind on something, there was little I or anybody else could do to dissuade him. I bit my lip and nodded. But after seeing his passion for his work, after finally coming to the conclusion that I wanted to join the play to be with him, I didn't want him to quit, not after all the hard work he'd gone through. This could be my opportunity to be the tree of a lifetime. So, dissuade. Even if this was what John wanted to do, I knew better than that. He knew better than that. This was a decision made in a momentary fog of sadness. It wasn't something he should stick to, or else he'd regret it down the line. So, I really don't think you should quit. There's a lot more options in this one. Interesting. Oh, my hair is being lame. John turned to stare at me blankly, wrapping the sheet around his head so he looked like a nun. It made me want to laugh, but I held it in. You know how much drama club means to you, and I'm sure Jacques wouldn't want you to quit either. I'm sure he would be on your shoulder right now, giving you a ton of sass. For the first time I realized one of the reasons Jacques was so important to John. He balanced out John's personality. Jacques was able to quickly nip John's anxiety in the bud with humor, refocusing John's thoughts on Jacques' sass instead of letting him descend into the darkness. I knew I couldn't replace Jacques, but maybe. Don't tell me what Jacques would have wanted. How could you even know? You didn't even like him. Whoa! What? No, I love Jacques. John, I'm just as sad as you that he's gone. As soon as it was out of my mouth, I wanted to take it back. There wasn't what? What was wrong with what he said? Hana, the warning was clear. I nodded and hung my head. I messed up there. It was definitely my fault. But all I wanted to do was make it better. John shouldn't leave the drama club. I glanced up at him. He was staring wistfully out the window, the clouds having finally parted and let some... As the sky reflected in his eyes, an idea suddenly hit me. Wasn't there another option? John heaved a heavy sigh, resuming his dejected state. I wasn't sure how he would take it, but it was worth a try after all. After all, it was just a suggestion. All he had to do was say no if he didn't want to do it. He wouldn't get upset about a suggestion, would he? Well, John, I was thinking, why don't you just go to the pet store? Oh my gosh, don't say this! Get an actual pet! One that looks exactly like Jacques, and you can tell this is such a terrible idea. And you can tell everyone it's the same bird. No. Oh, why would you even suggest this? John looked at me in surprise, but didn't say anything. I pushed through. I could even go with you if you want, and then you could keep going with the play. You wouldn't have to quit the drama club and nobody will ask bad questions. What do you think? Hana, what is wrong with you? Well, honestly, John released something that sounded like laughter, but it wasn't. It definitely wasn't. How could you suggest such a thing, Hana? Hana, replace my precious Jacques like he's a piece of meat or an object? Well, he again. He is an object. He's a computer program, or he was again. Oh my gosh! What the frickety frack is wrong with you? Oh, I'm wondering the same thing too. I'm getting kind of scared. Is this where the game ends? Do I die? John slammed his hand on the table and I jumped to my feet, somewhat shaken. Over my dead body, Hana! I never thought you were this kind of person. I'm glad I found out, though. I can't believe I almost made you a tree in my play. Calm down, it was just a suggestion. If you don't like it, you don't have to do anything about it. Get out of here! This is the sacred space. The likes of you aren't welcome. John glared at me like the patriarch of some 1950s family, and I picked up my bag. I was just trying to help. Ow! I stumbled out into the hallway, the door slamming behind me. As much as I knew he wouldn't like the suggestion, there was no need for him to react the way he did. Well, I probably would have reacted the same way. I was his friend, not an alien in a human skin. He should have given me the benefit of the doubt. He should have trusted where I was coming from. Maybe. No, I shook my head. Grief did more than make people sad. It made them sensitive, stressed, volatile. Looking back at the months after my mother died, I did my best to contain my emotions. But even then I lashed out, especially at the people I loved most. That means that John loves me. John was going through a hard time, and I might have made things worse for him. No longer hungry, I decided to skip lunch and go straight back to class. I could use the extra time for practice anyway. I'm gonna leave it there. Oh my goodness. Oh, that was pretty intense. Took the midnight train. Go. Actually, I'm singing the wrong song. Yeah. That was a terrible decision on Hana's part, whatever. Can't believe she said that. But I felt like the choice I chose seemed right. Anyway,